I get it. People make mistakes. Now, I don't make mistakes. I'm perfect. I'm made in God's image. I am on par with the Almighty Himself, and I bring my people the truth. There is not a lie, a falsehood, or even a half truth that's ever escaped my mouth. But people, i.e., you folks, you make mistakes, all right? You don't get it right all the time, and I don't expect perfection. I really don't. But to see Disney and Marvel suckling at the dried up old leathery ass tit that is the MCU just makes me so disappointed in humanity. I mean, it really shouldn't be disappointing. Look at who we're dealing with. These are the same folks who brought Star Wars back for the sequel trilogy and completely massacred everything everybody loved about that franchise. That saga is forever tainted with the likes of third-rate directors like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, equally worthless actors like Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac. My God, you can tell they weren't trying at all. Bring everybody back from the original trilogy just to kill them. Well, see, I was never a fan of the MCU. I thought it was completely redundant. I thought that it served no purpose. Basically, I thought it absolutely sucked. Who wants to have to watch 22 movies to get caught up on needless storylines and overarching plots that do nothing but repeat themselves? Not me. Apparently you guys do, but not me. Not Dead Metal. I got way better things to do with my time. But I've entertained the MCU over the years, and it did reach about 15 natural, logical closure points that they failed to take on and fully wrap up their story because of the money train that it became. But then they marketed Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame as the double hit, the 1-2 punch that's going to close out the MCU, and everything's going to be done, all right? We're going to get, there'll be future movies, but it's going to be a new set of characters, it's going to be a new storyline, new main villain, basically hit the soft reboot button and call it a day. Well, Avengers Endgame comes and goes, and yet we are still holding on to these tired-ass old characters. Why does Black Widow need a prequel movie? Why is it focusing on the least interesting character in that entire anthology of films? There's a reason that in her decade plus of appearances in these 22 films or whatever, however many there are, that she's never gotten pegged for a solo film. It's because they lost all their talent. They lost Chris Evans, who's already apparently going to be coming back because he misses those fat Disney checks. All right, they lost Robert Downey Jr., they lost Mark Ruffalo, they're going to be losing Hemsworth, they're going to be losing Dave Bautista and probably all the other Guardians cast. They realize that even the actors are so fed up with dedicating literal decades of their lives to meaningless movies that are completely irrelevant, rendered irrelevant by the sequels that follow, that they're just done. They realize it's a stupid endeavor. Chris Evans is noted as saying that he did not want to commit 10 years of his life to the MCU because he didn't realize the effect that would have on him. All right? Nobody wants to do these anymore. No, not even the fans. You go look at the sales, the box office. Go on boxofficemojo.com. The MCU, since Endgame, since all of us thought it was ending, is tanked. Far From Home. Commercial failure. I'm not making this up. Go look it up. Commercial failure. Captain Marvel, between infesting its own film with SJW elements and casting Brie Larson, a horrible actress and a horrible person as well, as the main lead. Now we've got Black Widow, all right? So I get you want to promote, you want to promote diversity and equality and whatever. But now we've got Black Widow. The character, spoiler alert, is dead. Deader than a doornail. And she didn't get brought back. They confirmed it at the end of Endgame. Black Widow is dead, staying dead. But now we have to continue to milk. We have to continue to appeal to the fans who bought into Endgame. And like myself, we saw that as our out. All right, that was the exit point for the MCU. This new generation of heroes they got, the Eternals. Oh my God, I watched the Eternals trailer. I laughed so hard when they revealed the heroes. I could not keep myself quiet. I woke up my neighbors. I chose to watch that at 3 a.m. I had the neighborhood calling the cops on me. I laughed so hard at that. Like, really? These are the guys that we're supposed to get behind? These are the new heroes? My God, what an absolute failure. Eternals will get its own video, don't worry. Black Widow is literally taking, I'm not making, I know I say this a lot, but this is literally what they're doing. They're taking the desecrated corpse out of the grave of Natasha, Black Widow, and they're performing resuscitation, trying to inject life into her for one more shot at milking the old MCU fans for another movie ticket, another Blu-ray, another digital purchase. And you know what? It's just so disappointing that Disney has stooped to this low. I mean, I thought The Mandalorian was bad. I thought trying to bring a childlike doll based on Yoda's likeness to appeal to a new crowd was bad, and that caught fire, and everybody loves Baby Yoda, except a high-level individuals such as myself with a higher IQ who can see right through that facade. That show has no substance beyond the attractive little green doll that they parade around. Look at how cute he is. Oh, you can buy a plush doll, and they made like 1 million Funkos of him. Everybody's buying them. What an absolute joke. And now we've got Black Widow. Now we've got Scarlett Johansson, who can't act to save her life. We've got her in the lead. There's a reason that she's never been given this type of responsibility before. She is incapable of carrying a film of her own volition. She's not going to be able to do it, all right? She needed Adam Driver to carry Marriage Story on his back because she sure wasn't getting it done. She's had countless other flops of movies. Every time you cast her in a lead role, it's a catastrophic failure. And Black Widow will be no different. The MCU fans, it's taken them a very long time. We are going into year number 13, but they're finally starting to wisen up to all the trash that they're being handed year over year. There's going to be another Spider-Man movie. That Spider-Man movie is legitimately going to bring back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Doc Ock and everybody from the old Spider-Man movies, and this like gigantic explosion of Doctor Strange, time loop, dimension, crazy ass stuff because they want to appeal to the older Spider-Man fans. This is all that Disney has in the bank right now. They blew their load. They absolutely ejaculated every last bit of creativity with Endgame, and now it's all about nostalgia. Now it's about getting every dime, not even every dime, every penny they can out of your wallet. That's why they're bringing back Tobey Maguire. That's why they're bringing back Andrew Garfield. That's why they're bringing back Black Widow. That's why they're bringing back Hawkeye. That's why we get all these spin-off shows, WandaVision. They want to hold on. They have latched themselves onto the MCU and the original incarnation of the MCU, like the original Avengers and the Avengers Age of Ultron era, because they know that these new guys they aren't going to be able to hold a candle to the original MCU guys. Seriously, the Eternals, these are our new heroes. These are the new Avengers. These guys are a joke. These guys are playing in the little leagues, all right? I wasn't that big of a fan of the MCU, but at least you had guys like Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo and Edward Norton, or at least originally, and Chris Evans to give you some star power. Who we got now? Brie Larson leading the charge. We've got Rob Stark, his actor. Ned Stark's son's going to lead the charge in the next Avengers. My God, they have an admitted failure, and they've got the money. They could very easily say, okay, Robert Downey Jr., he had his 10 years. Let's bring in Tom Cruise. All right, let's bring in Brad Pitt into the MCU. Let's get him. Let's get Russell Crowe. Let's get Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. I know he said he was done, but there is no way in hell if they didn't offer him enough money that he would not integrate into the MCU as Wolverine. But Disney doesn't want to pony up the dough. They're greedy, they're sleaze bags, they got dollar signs in their eyes, and they've literally taken their A-list talent down to a D-list talent at best. And those who have contracts that are remaining, like Hemsworth re-signed, he's got 1 or 2 more movies. Scarlett Johansson's got Black Widow, and then I think she's done. Hawkeye's coming back. Anybody who still has those ties to the original MCU, they're going to milk away for as much as they can. That's why Loki's getting his own show. You expect Loki to be good? Loki is the biggest cash grab, and they literally inserted a scene into Endgame to set up the show because they wanted they know Loki has like a 0.3% audience who like fangirl for him and they're in love with him. So we gave him his own show. Loki's the worst character in the MCU, and that show's going to be absolute trash. But after all these contracts are dried up and dead and nobody remains from the original MCU, then Disney will start to see the negative results to their finances. But until then, we have a bunch of horny teenage boys willing to pay to watch Scarlett Johansson in a tight black leather suit, despite the fact that it's set before she actually dies. Who cares? This entire movie's irrelevant. Her character's deader than a doornail, has no relevance on the MCU. But hey, I can't blame you for wanting to look backwards, because it is a lot better than looking forwards into shit like the Eternals. Oh my God, the Eternals literally is going to destroy Disney financially, and you can tell they're putting a lot of money on it. They are literally trying to sell this as the new Avengers. Well, the only thing that needs avenging is the amount of money and the amount of time that Disney has stolen from people, pumping now 13 years worth of redundant content rendered irrelevant by the next film, by the next sequel, and disrespecting their audience to the 10th degree. What a bunch of clowns.